Hi again everyone, Scottiplier PopCultFan here, and in this video I want to do another review of a movie that came out about 5 years ago now. So this movie is having its 5th anniversary, and I want to talk about this movie because I wasn't expecting it to have such an impact on me, because there were a few moments during this movie that I cried rewatching it just a little bit ago actually. And you know, this is another movie that's a horror film that also stars AnnaSophia Rob, but she is much more front and center in this film as her character of Kit, or Catherine, and it's called Down a Dark Hall. It came out back in 2018, so that was about like 5 years ago, and I remembered, I watched this movie once, and then I guess I sort of forgot about it after a while. I forgot about some of the things that happened in the film, but I remembered watching it and thought, oh wow, that actually surprised me how much it actually impacted me, because there were moments where, you know, you're following the character of Catherine, played by AnnaSophia Rob, and with this performance, and amongst a few others, this was one of the few other performances from the actress that really cemented in my mind the fact that she's really talented. Like, I've seen her in quite a few other performances, from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory to this to quite a few other movies, and I've seen her do different kinds of performances now, and I really do think that she is very talented, and I'm not just saying that because she's my celebrity crush. Like, I really do think that she is a really good actress. And in the beginning of this film, you know, Kit, she is a troubled teenager accused of causing a fire at her school, and she's going to a therapist, and it's like the first couple minutes of the movie. And also like a flashback to her when she was younger, and then this other person goes into one of her therapy sessions and invites her to go to this academy, which sets up the premise of the movie. And it's really interesting, while at the same time not necessarily being a scary movie. It's not, like, similar to what I was saying about The Reaping. This movie is not scary. I will say that about this film. You know, this is a horror film, but it doesn't do anything to scare you, really. I mean, there are a few moments in the third act that are creepy and unsettling and disturbing, but none of it is really trying to scare the audience, really. And also, you know, there's other girls going to this academy, so it's sort of like a group of teens that are also troubled, going to this academy, and Uma Thurman, she is like the head mistress of this academy, and, you know, so, and there's an element of this movie that, after seeing the Wednesday TV show, sort of reminded me of that a little bit, where you have these troubled kids, mainly girls, going to this school of sorts, and the lead character, played by Anna, is trying to solve this mystery going on in this really big mansion, by the way, and it's really interesting with what she finds out as the events unfold around her and the other girls. And, you know, there's this whole thing about their skills, and even though it's not necessarily, because in the twist, in some of the twists that are revealed later in the film, in the third act, it's revealed that there are these spirits that Uma Thurman's character is trying to connect to the other side, and these spirits are sort of like successful artists, like poets or pianists or painters, you know, successful artists that died, and they're all trying to use these girls and try to, possess them, basically. So in that way, this movie does something a little bit different with ghost possession, similar to the A24 Talk to Me movie that came out earlier this year. And I always like when movies do that. I always like when horror films do something different with the possession genre, and I think that's rather fascinating. And there's this other plot, surrounding the central character, Catherine, who she lost her dad when she was 9, and just about that. That's why this movie impacted me a lot, because I related to AnnaSophia Rob's character a lot because of that, because of the fact that her dad passed away when she was 9, and because my dad passed away quite a few years ago, back when I was 21. That was like 7 years ago. Wow. But yeah, that's why there are moments in this film that really did make me cry, and I really feel for her character. I really do, in certain scenes in this film, and it really made the ending a lot more impactful because of what happens at the very, very end. Once the mansion goes up in flames and the cops and the ambulance show up, and almost everyone in almost all the supporting characters die in the mansion, as well as like some of the other teachers that were in the academy, and Uma Thurman herself. They all perish in the mansion, and there's this one moment at the end where Kit's character is sort of in this ambulance, and she's talking to her spirit, like she's a spirit too, sort of like astral projection in a way, talking to her dad, saying goodbye to him. And I thought that was very impactful, because I never got a chance to say goodbye to my dad before he passed away. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to my dad, and it's just that ending alone really impacted me in a way that I wasn't expecting. And there's this one other moment in this film that really did feel like maybe a little bit of influence from the older Evil Dead movies, because there's this one girl that gets possessed, Veronica, and she has white eyes, and she almost sounds like a deadite too. So that scene alone really did remind me of Evil Dead, like the older films. And so I thought that was creepy, and that was probably the one moment in the film, as well as one other moment when this other spirit scares Kit. There's just a couple moments that do try to scare you, and they are good, but it's just not a movie that tries to scare you, really. It's more about the mystery of what's going on in the mansion, and also about Kit's character. And overall, I thought the music was great, and what I was saying about the mansion itself, it's very kind of an old mansion, very Victorian in that way, and a lot of the sets within the mansion were all really interesting to look at, because it just felt very old-timey. The production was great. The cinematography is great. The music, a lot about this movie I really do like. But like I was saying, like the whole part of the movie where some of the plot twists are revealed, some of that can just get a little bit convoluted, but it did work and it made sense. But also just felt like the writing during that part of the film just didn't seem too well executed, I guess, in that part of the film. But overall, I thought this was a really decent film, and it really did remind me of my dad, because because I get bad dreams and good dreams about my dad every now and then, and you know, because of how this movie touches upon the idea of dealing with the loss of a loved one, like a parent, it can really make you relate to the lead character played by AnnaSophia Rob, and I really do think that she did a really good performance. This is probably one of my favorite performances of hers. Not necessarily one of my favorite movies of hers, but still though, this was a movie that moved me quite a bit, and I really appreciate it for what it did, and for how all the actors, all of them, did pretty good jobs in their roles, except for maybe this one character, the Veronica character. She's not a character that you care for that much. And also Thurman's character, sort of being the antagonist of the film, they don't really flesh her character out that much, so she feels a little bit one note. But other than that, though, this was a decent film. I really enjoyed it, and movies like this and a few others have really cemented the fact that AnnaSophia Rob really is my favorite actress. She really is. Not just because she's my celebrity crush, but because of some of the performances I've seen from her. She's really talented, and I love her. So yeah, if I had to give a grade for this movie, I'd probably give it, I think I'd give it like a B. That'd be my grade for Down a Dark Hall. A decent film, but not great, with some things that I mentioned, like how the movie's not really scary, and some of the writing choices, and with the plot twists, and a few characters that you don't care for. Other than that, decent film. Alright guys, those are all my thoughts, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.